21 obviously came on the back of 3 very solar vintages, very hot vintages, and it was much more a classical vintage. Did it live up to that reputation?
Yes and no. I think this was one of the tastings where I went in expecting to like the wines, but came out actually more positive and thinking better of the vintage than I had in the first place. Rewinding to the spring, I think that the white wines for me didn't really meet my early expectations of the vintage, whereas I think that the reds actually have exceeded what I thought. So I've reversed my position, thinking that 21 favoured white wines. I'm now thinking, there are some very nice whites, but actually the reds are a more consistent level of quality and perhaps a more reliable choice. There's some real charmers.
Were there any standout communes or any underperformers?
I think Pommard continues to, show that there's this new era for Pommard, and it's really benefiting from climate change. I think there's some lovely wines there, and I think Louis Saint-Georges showed very well this year. Other end of the scale, I don't really like to put the boot in. I think Volnay is continuing to struggle a little bit, and I'm starting to wonder if in the new climate era, has Volnay quite found its feet? It clearly struggles in the really solar vintages. I always think of it like kind of the eye of Sauron bearing down, and in that sort of very exposed, transparent style of wine, there's nowhere to hide when the sun is like that. But now we've had a vintage that isn't really like that, and still the wines didn't seem to be quite on song. The other village that I didn't think quite hit the heights I was expecting, maybe surprisingly, was Vosne Romanée. I thought, clearly at the top there were some great wines, but around the sort of the middle orders, I think I found more to enjoy in Gevrey or Maury. And Chambolle actually did surprisingly well. Chambolle's often the counterpart to Volnay, struggling in some of these recent years, and yet I think this was a lovely vintage for some very lacy, very classic Chambolle Musigny.